referred to several times. Linika's volley in Poznan, some heroic displays like Glenn Hoddle's team holding Italy in Rome, Peter Shilton in Poland in 1989, without which there would have been no Italian 90 for Bobby Robson and no tears from Gaza. So the list goes on, and it may just be that we're in for another one of those cliffhangers tonight. We shall see. Now down there in the tunnel, as well as the team coming out, the star names missing tonight have been in the dressing room. Ferdinand, Terry, Owen and Rooney. But just now, what a different reception England would have got had Israel not beaten Russia on Saturday night. As it is, what could have been a very awkward night at Wembley becomes an optimistic one, as you'll hear. Those mascots in front there, one of them sponsors nationwide, have found a lad from Buckinghamshire, Finlay Fulford, whose grandfather played for England 90 years ago. There's a bit of history attached to that lineup, but here come the officials. His Royal Highness Prince William, the President of the Football Association, being accompanied by Jeff Thompson, the FA Chairman, along with the other officers from the two football associations. And they need their umbrellas because it's absolutely teeming here. National anthems to be sung by Tony Henry.
3, 2, 1.
Will really be pleased with the respect that got, because their anthem was badly treated in Macedonia on Saturday. The conditions there you can see for yourselves, and as the officials come out to meet the teams, Mark Lawrence, and the first question I'm going to put to you tonight is about the pitch, because Slaven Bilic was, well, to say the least, critical about it last night, and Steve McLaren's staff are none too pleased with it either, I can tell you.
Well, I think, John, you've got to go back some 3.5 weeks to the game of American football that was played on here. I think that was experimental. I don't think it will ever be done again, certainly not in the month of October, because of the weather we get in this country. That apart, it's just something that England have to deal with. It's the same for both teams. Get on with it. You can always go on about the pitch later on. Don't forget, the last pitch they played on in a major international game was actually a plastic pitch.
It was, and I have to also say it's a much better surface than the one Croatia played on in Macedonia in Skopje on Saturday night. That pitch was virtually unplayable. The ball would not move properly, and Croatia in the second half, once they knew they'd qualified, really, frankly, they went through the motions and lost 2-0. But it was worse than this even, I can tell you, but this is bad enough. And there are concerns, surely, here about the pitch at the new Wembley.
Well, there are, but, I mean, that's up for the FA and the people of Wembley to be sorted. I think just the thing for England tonight is to get through this game and ensure qualification.
Well, we have underlined the fact that England could win the group still, but let's put qualification as the first priority. Now then, the inexperience of Carson, Richards, Lescott and Wright Phillips means more responsibility for seasoned internationals like Sol Campbell winning his 73rd cap, captain Steven Gerrard his 63rd, Frank Lampard reaches the 60 mark tonight with 13 goals, 2 of them against Croatia, 1 on his England debut and 1 in Euro 2004. 3 Premier League regulars, as Gary said, in the Croatia starting lineup. Right back Vedran Šorluka, part of the Eriksson revival at Manchester City. On the left side of midfield, Niko Kranjčar of Portsmouth. And from the leaders' Arsenal, number 22, Eduardo da Silva, Brazilian-born, but scorer of 10 goals in the qualifiers, including the first against England in Zagreb last year. The Kovac brothers have 143 caps between them. Defenders Dario Simic and Josip Simunic were both sent off by Graham Poll against Australia in the World Cup, the latter after being shown the now infamous 3 yellow cards. As for the substitutes, Steve McClaren had to choose people who might need to close out the game, like Wes Brown and Owen Hargreaves, who might be required to change the game, like David Beckham, who hasn't started on the bench for England since the 1998 World Cup, or players who might be called upon to save or win the game, like Jermaine Defoe and Darren Bent, who between them have started only 5 Premier League games for Tottenham this season. What a responsibility, Mark Lawrenson, for this young man. Well,
not only him, John, as well. I mean, if you look, you take Campbell out of England's back four and Bridge, Lescott, Richards and Carson, 40 caps between them. 40 caps only. You just said about the Kovac brothers for Croatia. 143. Big difference.
It is no Gary Neville, no John Terry, no Rio Ferdinand, no Ashley Cole, and a new goalkeeper. That's the setup. Now the referee tonight is Peter Freudfeldt from Sweden, and he has his compatriots on the line. England are wearing all white and will play in the first half from left to right in this critical European Championship qualifier. A draw or a win will do. Defeat, if Russia win in Andorra tonight, means England are out. And just having a look straight away, it'll be Olic up front with Eduardo for Croatia. And Steve McClaren needs the shelter, perhaps in more ways than one.
Yeah, rather pensive looking Steve McClaren as well.
But also just keeping an eye on Northern Ireland tonight. It would be something of a miracle if they were to get through. It's 0-0 in Spain at the moment for them, and Sweden and Latvia are 1-1. So Latvia are doing their bit at the moment for the Irish. And you can see Northern Ireland by pressing the red button. But if you're sticking with us, I hope you are, it's going to be some night here. This is Slaven Bilic, well known to supporters of West Ham and Everton. Was in the Croatia team that went to the 1998 World Cup semi-final. In fact, they finished 3rd in 98. And he also played here when they played their first international at Wembley in 96, when Terry Venables was the England coach. Can England force something straight away with Wright Phillips? Wearing 10. 7 is Barry. Croatia have snapped that up pretty cleanly. It was Cernar, the number 11, who got it away. Šorluka. Cernar really plays right side midfield. That's where he is now. Šorluka, as you know, is a bit of a buccaneer when he comes forward. And the referee there says carry on. England have the ball, but he won't now.
I think from England's original move, when Peter Crouch flicked the ball on, both Joe Cole and Sean Wright Phillips were in a very advanced position.
Well, it's a question of who we can get close to Crouch, Mark, isn't it, to give him some support?
Yeah.
Whether that comes from the centre of midfield with Lampard and Gerrard, and Barry, of course, is a cover for them, isn't he?
Well, if you look at them at the moment, England are 4-3-3, John, not 4-5-1.
So they are. Here's Campbell. Yes, they've got Joe Cole and Wright Phillips pushed a long way down the pitch. Forward by Sol Campbell. This is looking for Crouch. Wayne Bridge. Cole tries to find his Chelsea colleague. Big spread of Chelsea players in the side tonight.
Well, which is why they're playing 4-3-3 with Cole and Wright Phillips, who are used to playing those positions for Chelsea. The other thing as well, long ball into Peter Crouch, and Croatia just dropped off him and let him have the ball.
Some real experience back there. Dario Simic, his 95th cap tonight. Robert Kovac, his 70th. They've been together a long time, this team. Niko Kovac is 36 years of age in midfield. Mostly quite neat ball players. That's Kranjčar. This is Modric. More of him in a minute. He's the rising star of Croatian football. Keep your eye on the number 14. Still with Dinamo Zagreb, but liable to move in January, and I'm led to believe, among other clubs, Chelsea interested. Top player. Cernar. Bit of a tangle there, and England get the free kick. What a relief it would be if England could get an early goal. This is Barry. Gerrard. The pitch on this side is the worst area. It's where Micah Richards and Wright Phillips have got to play in the first half. Niko Kovac. Good turn. Modric. Wright Phillips. Crouch in the centre waiting. Still waiting. Josip Simunic's got a foot in. Kranjčar. Eduardo was the target there. Bridge. Steve McLaren appealed for big backing from the Wembley crowd. He's getting it in the early stages. Barry. Barry there is being called to the referee. If anybody got a yellow card tonight, it wouldn't be the end of the world. They're wiped out at the end of the qualifiers, but a red card would mean you miss the first game in the finals.
I think the referee's also got to take into account the state of the pitch, hasn't he?
Bilic described it last night as an ice rink. This is Wright Phillips. Micah Richards. Gerrard got that ball in. Oh, a flying, well, an attempt at a flying header. Joe Cole was very low to the ground there.
Yeah, nobody picked him up as well. It's a nice run, late run.
Ball moved very quickly to the other end here by Croatia. There's certainly no suggestion early on, Mark, that they've come to make up the numbers, having qualified.
No, well, they're very good technically, John, as everybody knows, and they will keep the ball. It's just be interesting to see that the longer this game goes on in terms of into the tackle, exactly what the Croatians think of it.
Jolyon Lescott to Gareth Barry, two players who a few months ago wouldn't have thought they'd be in this game. This is Gerrard. Wright Phillips. Looking for Crouch. Oh, it's a header back, surely here for Lampard.
Great ball from Wright Phillips, diagonal to the far post, just what Crouch feeds on.
Gerrard was a foul off the ball. The referee played an advantage. Wright Phillips is behind Simunic. And this is Kranjčar. And now Modric.
I think already, John, Simunic's the left back. Looks very, very uncomfortable when Wright Phillips is running at him.
He started his career as a centre-back, as I recall, Mark, didn't he?
Well, he's playing at left-back like a centre-back.
That's Robert Kovac to the player who is at centre-back, which is Simic. Robert Kovac.
That was just a ball in from Wright Phillips. Great ball to Crouch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a just whipped away from Frank Lampard by Robert Kovac, wasn't it? This is Cernar. It's come across to Cranshaw. Eduardo in the centre. Cranshaw will shoot from here. Oh, it's gone right through! It's deceived Scott Carson, and England are a goal down after only 7.5 minutes. The very thing they didn't want to happen, and particularly to the young goalkeeper. What on earth went on? Was that the pitch, I wonder? Nico Cranshaw. And there didn't seem to be any danger here at first when the ball went out to him. He comes slightly inside Micah Richards, and it's gone in off the goalkeeper almost, Mark Lawrenson.
Well, the first rule of goalkeeping, John, is keep your eye on the ball, but also get your body in front of the ball, and then if you happen to miss it, it hits your body and comes back out. That is just a pure lack of concentration by Carson.
What a shattering blow for England, for Carson, and indeed for Steve McLaren, who made the selection. First real attack that Croatia had had, and it's Nico Cranshaw. And Wembley has suddenly gone from almost euphoric to very, very nervous. England have forced a free kick though. This is the time to hit back. Well, that was not in the script.
It's like the stadium's in a state of shock, isn't it?
Yes. Gerrard will take the free kick for England out on the left-hand side. Sol Campbell is forward, so is Micah Richards, so is Jolyon Lescott. Crouch the deepest. But it's an easy one for Petikosa, overhit by Gerrard.
Yeah, it's a total waste, John, as well. It's just so simple for the goalkeeper. I think it's his second touch, but it's just easy.
Spain have taken the lead against Northern Ireland, incidentally. But what is patently obvious is that England are one behind to Croatia. Joe Cole. Crouch! Chance for a shot, maybe no. For right Phillips, perhaps. Petikosa makes the save. Cover arriving. Robert Kovac. Could have been the equaliser by Wright Phillips.
And the only problem for Wright Phillips in England was it was straight at Petikosa.
That's a free kick to Croatia, yes, but it could have done the same to Petikosa as they did to Carson.
I don't think he had as long to think about it. That was the thing. Good ball from Crouch as well, just stretching. Played Wright Phillips through, one touch, and it's a hit, but right at him. It's a good save, but it's a comfortable save, John, for a goalkeeper.
OK. Petikosa's very experienced, 65th cap tonight. Plays for Spartak Moscow. Nearly went to Fulham at one time, I remember. Well, the crowd are doing their best to help dig England out of a great big hole. Cranshaw. This is Eduardo now. Oh, dear me, what must Scott Carson be going through here?
I was just going to say to you, I just hope one of the more experienced players has had a little word with that, and I don't think they have. Just on the basis of, you know, just get on with it, don't worry about him. I mean, it was more Frank Carson than Scott, wasn't it?
I'm afraid so. 7 minutes. England go a goal down. Richards. Wright Phillips. Gerrard. Cole's got bridge and support. There's the cross. Crouch!
Good defending by Robert Kovac. Just did enough to put Crouch off. Good ball in though.
England come away with it again though. Gerrard. And again they look for Peter Crouch. And the others following up for the knockback. It's away by Chorluka. Down the line for Cernar. Challenged by Barry. Well, Gerrard is driving the team forward here. Wright Phillips. Micah Richards has made the run. Chance for England, surely. No! It wasn't going in anyway from Crouch. But here's Joe Cole and here's Bridge.
Well, it was a brilliant pass to play Micah Richards in. Absolutely brilliant. And his ball across was good as well. Crouch just couldn't sort his feet out.
Lampard. Barry. And now Campbell. This time Crouch heads back toward, towards Lampard. Niko Kovac has immediately sussed that Lampard is running onto those touches, and Eduardo is away here for Croatia. Oh, is he offside? Kovac. Oh, it's gone in! And is the flag up? The flag is not up! And Olic has scored! Olic has scored for Croatia, it's 2-0! You can't believe this! 13 minutes gone, and everybody looked for the offside. And it's Olic. Ivica Olic here, picking it up from Eduardo. Is he off? Is he off?
No.
No, he's not off. He's level. And he goes round Carson, and Olic has made it 2-0 to Croatia after 13 minutes. Arsenal's Eduardo made the pass. It cuts out the centre-backs. I think Bridge was playing him onside. Certainly somebody was. And Olic has an easy chance.
John, there's no argument. Definitely onside. I think the problem was from England's point of view. They thought Eduardo da Silva, when he cut in from the right on his left, was going to hit it. And he played a sumptuous little pass to Olic, who timed his run to perfection.
This is hard to believe, although it's happening right in front of us. Gerrard. England have now got to find 2 goals from somewhere to save this man's job and to qualify for the European Championships.
They've also got to have 10 minutes of not conceding another one.
Correct. Barry. This is Crouch. Richards. Wright Phillips. Came off Josip Simunic. What a baptism in competitive international football for the 22-year-old goalkeeper. Couldn't be blamed for the second one. Absolutely exposed. Here's Micah Richards with the throw. Peter Crouch gets up there. Croatia get it away. My goodness, they've come to play, Croatia. Eduardo. Ivica Olic is remembered in Croatia for scoring a very famous goal against Italy in the World Cup in Japan. But if he's looking for another one for his scrapbook, one at Wembley will do nicely.
Well, the timing of the run was brilliant. I mean, England defensively were statuesque, but the great timing.
This is Wright Phillips. Dear me. Modric. Well, I'm not often lost for words, Laura, but just sum up that first 15 minutes for me, will you?
From England's point of view, I think nightmare's probably the best I can come up with. The other problem as well, John, it's a Croatian side who are very, very good at keeping the ball. This is the goal. We all think here Eduardo is going to cut inside, he's going to hit it. And he just played the ball through Sol Campbell's legs. And I don't know who was standing or just playing for offside. It was criminal from England's point of view. You have to go with the runner.
He was level with the man in the left-back position. There was no question that the assistant referee was right. Lescott to Campbell. Gareth Barry. In goes Cranshire. Wright Phillips right in the corner. He didn't want to get anything on that at all. And as a result of it, it's merely a goal kick. Well, until tonight, England had only conceded 4 goals in this qualifying group. 2 of them were in Croatia, 2 were in Russia. Now they've conceded 2 more. And the rain really is falling all around Steve McLaren in England.
Well, they've not really recovered from the first goal, have they?
This is Wright Phillips. Cole outside him. Oh, and Wright Phillips did well to try and get something on that. But as Mark Lawrenson rightly says, every time Croatia come out of defence, you worry. This is Croatia, he's put that one out.
Well, the other thing as well, John, every time the ball's played into the Croatian 18-yard box, it's coming out to one of their own players, and they're just getting the foot on the ball and starting to attack from very, very deep.
Yeah, Croatia at Portsmouth does love to come inside on his right foot from the left-sided position. He does love a shot at goal. He's not a prolific scorer as it happens, but he's certainly put his name on the Wembley record sheet tonight. And of course the other player involved in the second goal, Eduardo, is an Arsenal player. Surely the overseas players from our own Premier League are not going to knock us out, are they? Here's Campbell. Just to keep the record straight, it's Andorra 0, Russia 0 after 20 minutes.
That couldn't happen, could it?
Sweden are leading Latvia 2-1, which is bad news for Northern Ireland. This is Gerrard. It's a free kick to England.
Well, they wasted their last free kick from roughly the same area, but the other side, and it's important to get this one right. Lescott's up, Campbell's up, Crouch is in there as well.
Well, yes, it's a Gareth Barry who's going to take it with his left foot here. Plenty of England players forward again. God, they desperately need a goal back here. Well, the referee seems to have... OK, he's given the signal now. Comes off the Croatian head, it's a corner.
And that's another waste, John. 2 free kicks in good positions, 2 wasted free kicks.
It's going to be headed away. We've obviously got to hope as well now that not only do England recover in this game, but that if they can't, that Russia do us a favour or rather Andorra do us a favour against Russia. That is still a mathematical possibility. This is Cole. Barry. Bridge. What a weird old group this has been, hasn't it, from beginning to end? So unpredictable.
It's getting more weird by the minute.
I don't think we can expect too much from Andorra. They've lost all 29 of their qualifiers.
Yeah, but
as you say, in the context of what's happening just around this group at the moment, they'll probably beat Russia 1-0.
Get the mat out.
All of which is not disturbing Croatia, where Modric has just planted this ball too far ahead of Eduardo. 21 minutes gone. If you came in late, well, I don't know what to say really. You probably glad you did. Now, as it stands at the moment, England would still qualify because Russia have not taken the lead in Andorra. It's when Russia score that changes, or when England score twice. Sol Campbell with the free kick. It goes to Crouch, but heads just tamely through to Pletti-Kosa.
But the thing about that, John, is Crouch can't do any more with that ball, so somebody's got to gamble. If it's Cole, Lampard, Wright Phillips, you know it's going in there. Gamble, run the other side.
Robert Kovac. Simic. Niko Kovac to his brother. This is Eduardo, but this time there is an offside flag up.
Just as well for Sol Campbell, who's caught slightly unaware there. The other thing, going back to Croatia, John, you talked about Robert Kovac, the number 4, the lad who plays at the back. He's just a get-out. He's a safety ball every single time. If they're struggling, it goes back to him. He gets it under control, and he just starts Croatia playing again.
Well, if we've only got one striker, then they've got a spare centre-back, haven't they?
They certainly have.
Oh, Bridge is on his backside here. Oh, he handled it, didn't he?
He did.
Well, I don't know what's gone on between Srnar and Bridge, but the referee needs to sort it out.
I think he said it was a foul.
Pitch is very slippery on that side. That's an excuse, but it certainly is for the way Bridge fell. I've no doubt the news of England going 2 down has been quickly transmitted to Gus Hiddink. This is Cranshaw. Well, we had to depend on Israel, now we've got to depend on Andorra, is that right?
Yeah. How well are we going then?
Well, that's hit right, Phillips, and gone out for a throw.
I don't think Scott Carson's actually touched the ball with his hands, has he, since the mistake either?
No, he hasn't had an opportunity to get a feel of it. He didn't beforehand either, did he, really? Here's Chorluka. Oh, danger here again, Modric. Srnar. Oof. Well, it was Cranshaw again, slipping away from his marker, who I think was Micah Richards.
It was. You might see, I don't know if you see from this shot, Micah Richards suddenly has no idea where Cranshaw is, and he straight away looks across to the other side, but he has to get himself in a position where he can see ball and man.
Olic to Cranshaw. Simic has to hurry there, finds Simunic. Modric, a neat play by Croatia. Look at that, Niko Kovac. Modric again, not quite. Gerrard steps in. Bridge. That's Barry. Oh dear. Bridge lost it, and he's having to get back very quickly now. Needs cover on that side, Eduardo. 2 waiting in the centre. Oh, it's a corner.
Yeah, I think it was Chorluka, wasn't it? The guy who plays for Manchester City. Great break.
Yeah, he had
real good pace as well.
Look at Eduardo in the middle and Olic. They were both waiting. This is the problem for England at the moment. Don't look secure.
Anywhere.
It's a corner to be taken on the far side by Srnar for Croatia. Simunic is forward. Gets up there. Foul there, put up on Gerrard. By Olic.
Can't believe we've only played 27 minutes.
Slaven Bilic. As cool as they come. Steve McLaren feeling the heat.
Another click on by Cranshaw, nobody in there. I think that's the 3rd occasion so far.
At what stage does McLaren scrap this plan and put another striker on?
Well, I can't see him doing that before half-time. I would be surprised.
Mourinho would, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I think others would do as well.
Barry. Cole.
Thing is, you could put Joe Cole up there and play Gareth Barry on the left.
Well, you've got to get someone closer to Crouch than we've seen so far.
Just to change it.
Just, yeah,
change
exactly,
it.
Exactly,
give them something to think about.
Well, this is Gerrard. Now Joe Cole is the nearest to him. But again, Lampard and Gerrard aren't. Bridge. Gerrard. Barry. Bridge. Floated across, but Pleticosa, scored it with one hand.
John, it's another waste. 2 free kicks to nothing, corner to nothing. Bridge has got time, he's not under pressure. Far too close to the goalkeeper.
Well, you can't expect Wright Phillips to win a header there,
No, not unless he's got a step ladder. England subs warming up.
Well, I did feel that maybe he has to look at it sooner rather than later. What is it? 29 minutes. Richards. Campbell. Lescott. Bridge. That's the back four. Can they get it further forward? Lampard. It's gone behind Steven Gerrard. Away by Cranchine. This is Olic. Play on, Crouch. It's going nowhere apart from to Chorluka.
I actually think Crouch has been England's best player so far. He's held the ball up, brought people into play, he's flicked it on, he's basically doing his end of the bargain.
It's the system around him that doesn't work.
Exactly.
Olic. Eduardo far side. Cranchine. Niko Kovac.
So much room, so much space, look.
Crowd are getting restless now. Siminic. Gerrard. Richards using his strength there. There's a flag up though. Offside, I think.
That's a free kick, John, I think. Foul on Richards.
Well, I think the linesman's flagging for one thing and the referee's given another here.
You're right.
In my opinion, the linesman flagged for an earlier offside. Did miss the first 2 goals. We have to remind some viewers who may have come in late that Cranchard's shot was an embarrassing moment for Scott Carson up to 7 minutes, and then here's Wright Phillips, flags up, free kick. Second goal was scored by Olic. That's a foul by Robert Kovac. England now have a free kick and a chance to pull one back. Lescott and Campbell on their way up. Lescott scored plenty of goals this season for Everton. Standing behind Peter Crouch. Micah Richards got in the air as well. One of the Croatian players is going off for attention. That's the reason for the delay. Goes. Pleticosa came to punch. There was a good punch in its way. There were plenty of people in front of him. England throw. Croatia is still down to 10 men. back on now. Olic it was. Cole gets the ball in towards Crouch. Robert Kovac picked up a yellow card in that last little flurry, but it shouldn't affect him unless, of course, he gets a second one tonight and has to go off here, but it won't affect him in terms of the games to come. Bridge. It's Cole who went down. It's Cole who will get a free kick. Goalkeeper's ball, is it? Punches, he's got to get back quickly now though, he needs cover in front. Hooked back in by Gerrard, Crouch in the crowd, but Croatia will break here, and for a moment it's 4 against 4. Cernar to Crenshaw. Modric. Handball. Gerrard to Lampard. Cole. Bridge outside him, Joe Cole still. Slides it in towards Lampard. Barry. Bridge. Cole. Just wonder what Rooney and Owen and Ferdinand and Terry are thinking in the stand. What Paul Robinson's thinking, for that matter. Or David Beckham.
Or the manager.
And Andorra are still holding Russia after 35 minutes. Let's have a look at the table as it stands now. England are still, at this moment in time, despite being 2 goals down, they are still in second place. Bear in mind, though, England were 0-0 in Andorra and won 3-0 in the end. Here comes Campbell. Oh, it's a poor kick by Carson. Right, Phillips. Oh, Bridge taken away from him by Eduardo.
Well, the thing with England, John, is they've had lots and lots of possession. The lion's share, it's the final pass every time. It's just, I can only remember, and really now, the Wright Phillips chance, that seemed like an eternity ago.
Here he is again. That's a foul by Michael Richards on Joe Siminic. Well, let's have if you can bear it, let's look at what happened earlier. Here you are, Mark.
Well, this is just a catastrophe of all catastrophes, isn't it? And it's you waiting for the ground to open. This is a brilliant goal from Croatia's point of view in terms of the movement, the timing of the run by Olic. Awful for England defensively. Am I right in thinking they've had basically 2 attacks and scored twice?
Pretty much. Right, Phillips, Crouch. Lampard looking for Cole on the far side. Chorluka is the defender. Cernar making up the ground here on Bridge. Cole. Again they look for Crouch. There's the header down. Right, Phillips tries to follow up, so does Gerrard. And the captain goes down, and in fact the free kick goes the other way.
Yeah, I think Gerrard thought it was a free kick on him, but I think he lost control of the ball, and the referee's going to have a little word with him.
Yes, he almost lost control of himself just for a second there.
Now,
it was dissent. It wasn't punished with a yellow card, but the referee did speak to Steven Gerrard. Now there is news from the Andorra game, and Russia have taken the lead. And it's Sichev, I think was he the man that hit the post just before the end of the game in Israel? I think he might have been. And he's got his own back tonight. Here's the updated table. Russia 24, England 23. As things stand, England are going out of the European Championships. Mark Lawrenson.
Well, at the moment, John, from what we've seen in the virtually 39 minutes tonight so far, they've just been very, very poor, England. Virtually in every single department. We thought the lifeline thrown to us by the Israelis on Saturday was going to be enough. It's certainly not been the case so far.
Goodness gracious, and all the scenarios that you imagine might happen here tonight, this one, I mean, I can't imagine anybody had a bet on Croatia to lead 2-0 at half-time, can you?
What time did the second goal go in? 14 minutes?
The second goal went in on 14 minutes, yeah. 8 and 14.
You get monumental odds on that.
England on the attack, though. Oh, well, just for a moment. And that really has set Croatia on their way again. This is Eduardo. That's Modric. It's a poor ball by Gareth Barry, you know, that set that up.
Yeah, it was. It's also a poor ball by Modric because I don't know if it's Cernar was breaking in an inside right position. But that's just symptomatic of England the first half, giving the ball away in advantageous areas to themselves.
Sure. Free kick to Croatia. It's Barry's foul.
Surely Steve McLaren would be consulting with Terry Venables at this point.
I should think they'll both be preparing to tear the paint off the dressing room wall, wouldn't you?
You certainly would.
Or certainly get a couple of subs on at the beginning of the second half.
Both.
Change the system. Here's Joe Siminic for Croatia. Olic. Niko Kovac. I'm sure Luka's made a run far side. Not sure whether he can find him. No, he can't. Bridge is in the way. Well, there are. Go on.
No, I'm just going to say, where's Terry Venables? Where's your second in command when you need to have a little bit of
Well, here's
concentration?
Modric for Croatia. Oh, and he hasn't held that one either. And it's come out to Cranshire for Croatia. And it's a block by Micah Richards. Carson there didn't look confident either. This is Wright Phillips. Now England have drawn them out. There's a chance on here if they play the right ball. Wright Phillips picking it up from Cole. Far side is Crouch. The 7,000 Croatia fans are having a party over there.
I was going to say, it must sound like at home as though everybody's cheering throughout the game, but we must stress it's the Croatian supporters. This is the chance, isn't it? He just sort of tried to beat it away, didn't want to try and collect it, Scott Carson. You can't imagine what he's thinking.
Touch by Crouch. Joe Cole. Free kick. Luka fouled by Cole.
Well, if ever an England manager had to earn his money, John, It'll be in about 4 or 5 minutes' time.
Does he bring on Beckham?
Not yet for me, no. I think Wright Phillips has been one of the plus points so far. They just stopped passing to him. Because the balls into Crouch have been decent.
Yes,
it's just that he's done all the knockdowns. No one's got on the end of them.
No.
The other thing as well is Beckham is blatantly unfit, isn't he? In terms of, you know, the match fitness.
Well, obviously, I think the obvious solution would be Defoe, wouldn't it, at this stage?
It certainly would.
Meantime, it's Croatia on the attack again. Joe Cole.
A good time to score for England, this.
Yes, it would. Bridge. Planted up there, but it's Dario Simic who clears. Modric took that down beautifully. One wing to the other. This is Cranchar. Oh, it's a decent ball into Modric. Cranchar again. This is dangerous. It's Olic. Oh, it's a block. It's a block by Simic on Wright Phillips.
I think it's a booking, John, for me, that. Just a blatant stop.
Well, he knows all about yellow cards, Joe Simic, doesn't he?
It's got to be a booking. They just stopped him blatantly.
Barry. Bridge. The 45th minute. England still 2 down. Foul on Cole. 1 minute of added time. This could be the last chance England will have to go in with something at half-time. A goal now, and it might change everything.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 1 added minute to be played.
Gerrard looks as though he's going to take this. Crowd noise rises. Oh, what a poor delivery. Headed away by Eduardo. Gerrard again. Can he get it in this time? Niko Kovac. There's trouble on here, but no, it's gone wide.
Yeah, I think Michael Richards had the last header, but again, the delivery from the first free kick, the original free kick, was just didn't clear the first man. It's the cardinal sin.
Is that your summary of the first half, basically?
Well, I'm afraid it is, and the fact that obviously defensively England have looked at 6s and 7s, and to concede such a soft goal, they've never really recovered from that moment.
And boos ring round Wembley. What will they say in the England dressing room? Niko Cranchar gave Croatia the lead after 7 minutes. A dreadful mistake by the new goalkeeper. And after 14 minutes, it was 2-0 when Ivica Olic beat the offside trap. And I've handed back to Gary Lineker in all sorts of situations all over the world. I've never had to do it quite like this. It's England 0, Croatia 2. All the best by the other substitutes. He's coming on, as you said, with Jermaine Defoe, Gareth Barry and Sean Wright Phillips off. And goodness, when I was looking back at half-time on the first goal, Peter Shilton took a lot of criticism for the goal that we showed by Poland in 1973 here. He went on to become the best goalkeeper in the world, in my opinion, so let's hope Scott Carson can put that behind him.
Number 16, Jermaine Defoe. Also coming off number 10, Sean Wright Phillips, been replaced by number 17, David Beckham.
There's a huge cheer to welcome Beckham into what will be a 4-2-4 or 4-4-2, depending how you look at it, Mr. Lawrenson.
I think it's 4-4-2 for now, John. As the longer the game goes on in England chase, it will develop to 4-2-4.
Are we going to see one of the most dreadful nights that England have had at Wembley, or are we going to see a remarkable recovery? It has to go one way or the other, while still keeping one eye on what's happening to Andorra and Russia. As for Croatia, well, They don't have to worry anyway. Weather conditions not getting any better. It's still pouring with rain. Venables was in the royal box for part of the first half. He's now back on the touchline and coming out somewhat belatedly as the coach. Just in time to see Gerrard try to feed Beckham for the first time. Micah Richards. He does feed Beckham. Joe Cole's made a run across the box. Gerrard. Oh, a little dummy by Crouch. Lampard. Richards. Beckham. And then a header by Gerrard. Cernar. Oh, the crowd have really raised the volume at the start of the second half. They mean to get right behind England all over again. Here's Gerrard. Away by Chorluka. This is going to be one of the most seminal second halves ever seen at Wembley in an England international. Lampard. It could make or break careers this next 45 minutes, especially under the coach. Lampard. Defoe. Cole. Crouch. Gerrard running on. Croatia work a ball out though to Eduardo, and running forward he was too. Just seen off there by Lescott. Lampard spreads it wide. David Beckham. We're waiting for a contribution, maybe even a miracle, from a man who plays for LA Galaxy. Defoe. Gerrard, early ball. Oh, Joe Cole who took the tumble. It's a Croatia throw, Mark.
Yeah, I think Chorluka, the right back, just stood big and firm against Joe Cole. He tried to throw himself at the ball. He's just strong, isn't he, Chorluka? Look.
Last time these teams met prior to this group was when England beat Croatia in the Euro 2004 competition. 4 goals that day, 2 for Rooney. This is Lampard. 1 goal now from somewhere would restore some sort of hope for England. This is Campbell. Up for Crouch, heads it on.
And the problem then, John, was that Defoe had made a run sort of goal side of Crouch rather than the other side of Crouch, which obviously I think McLaren's on the touchline at the far side trying to point out to him, along with the passing.
And with the umbrella. This is Niko Kovac. So often when a team gets an early 2-0 lead, the other team scores to bring it back to 2-1. It happens over and over again. Now then, referee's going to give a yellow card here. Eduardo. Foul on Richards.
Doesn't exactly look too bothered, does he? Wasn't the worst of tackles either.
And England need the great escape now, don't they? My word, they do. Crouch was fouled. Free kick in a sensible position. David Beckham, where are you now?
The thing about this as well, John, it's in the middle of the goal. So it'll be very interesting to see where Pletikova actually stands.
You keep an eye on that, Mark, because Robert Kovac was the player who pushed Crouch. And David Beckham is very deliberately putting the ball down, and is this Old Trafford, Greece 2001 all over again. The whole of England hope so. It's just clipped somebody in the Croatian wall. It's a corner, which Beckham will also take. Lescott making a run towards the ball. It's come out to Olic. Oh, there's a free man on the far side. If Steven Gerrard hadn't got in there, well, who on earth was supposed to be marking the player on the left, Cranchire?
Well, Michael Richards is already in the box, John, attacking the ball.
Offside Eduardo, but that was 3 against 1 virtually.
It was. It's a little bit too early to be taking risks like that, because at 3-0, there's no way back.
I mean,
I know.
Carson takes the kick. Up goes Crouch again, but once more the header goes nowhere near an England player. That's the management team restored now. And like everybody else up and down the country, in living rooms and pubs and streets and wherever else you're watching this, there are anguished looks on the faces. This is Čorluka for Croatia. It was Olic, it was Niko Kovac to Eduardo. He's got Campbell for company, and Eduardo is quick, and the goalkeeper comes to make a save.
Yeah, good save as well it is, John. It's with his feet, and it'll do him the world of good, that Scott Carson. Lacking in confidence as we saw in the first half, but again, just a little ball played down the side. Eduardo's away. Yeah,
if he had been a right-footed player, he might have done better with that. Anyway, he's not. And it's come back here for a very hopeful crack at goal from Niko Kovac.
Just England asleep again, just a simple corner, dummy over on the edge of the box, free shot for Kovac.
This is the Carson save. Campbell's lost him by half a yard, although Sol Campbell did slide in typically and get something on it at the end, I think. Certainly put Eduardo off anyway. Here's Crouch. That was Cernat. Well, he can't do much about it, can he? Well, none of them can. Terry, Rooney, Michael Owen and Rio Ferdinand are in there somewhere, but none of them can affect this. Things don't improve. They'll be going on their holidays in the summer. Cernat. Oh, a nice little touch there, and this is Modric. But England got away with that. I thought it was a foul. Anyway, Beckham to Gerrard. Bridge. Joe Cole. Cole again. He's come inside Olic. Oh, this could be a penalty.
It is for holding. It's Defoe's
holding Robert Kovac on Defoe, but the assistant referee spotted it. There was definite contact, there's no doubt about that. Just watch as the ball goes in here from Joe Cole. Robert Kovac, well, it's an arm, is it? Simunic just tugs him slightly there. Left back Simunic on Defoe. And England have been given the most unlikely lifeline here, as they were against Poland in '73 when Alan Clark scored from that penalty. We have another one here tonight. What a responsibility for Frank Lampard. This puts England right back in it if he scores, and he did miss one, don't forget, in the World Cup quarter-final shootout. Everybody hold your breath. Scores! England have new hope. Lampard from the penalty spot. It's 2-1.
Well, it takes great nerve, doesn't it, in this situation?
And a man who's sometimes been jeered by the Wembley crowd is the man that puts England back in the box seat here.
The other thing about the penalty, John, and the Croatians are having a go at the referee, but Simovic undoubtedly pulled Defoe. If he doesn't pull his shirt, it's no penalty. There's no argument.
Well, the man whose name will go down as making that decision is Stefan Wittberg of Sweden, the assistant referee on the far side of the field from us. I don't think the referee would have given it. And suddenly, Croatia looked rattled. Oh, it's been taken quick now, referee wants it back. It's a foul by Cernar.
The referee wants to speak to Cernar, that's why he's made England bring it back. Listen to that noise.
Well, thunderous now, the noise from the crowd at Wembley as Beckham prepares to take this free kick. And could England here score again and get back to 2-2 in a matter of minutes? In it goes from Beckham. Loud shouts from the crowd of handball, but it wasn't. But England still have it. Multi-ball straight back into play. Bridge. And again. This is a different game now. But Croatia know that if England push forward, Modric with the pass there, Eduardo, Olic. Modric. Olic. Oh, it hits the bar. Hits the bar when it could have been 3-1.
Came off Wayne Bridge, John. I'm pretty sure that came off Wayne Bridge's right foot. He's just checking the run, and I think he makes last contact with it. He does.
Well, it's a corner, so he must have done. It's a corner to Croatia, but oh, it could have been so much more.
John, it's a brilliant save, absolutely brilliant, pure reflex save. He has no time at all to react to this. He does magnificently.
Well, some amends made there by Carson for what happened in the 7th minute.
What a game this is.
Oh, goodness, he's kept England in it. Free kick to Croatia.
Yeah, I think Crouch has stuck his hand out right under the referee's nose.
Slaven Bilic and his team have come here to play a proper game of football. There's no question about that. And we've got one. With nearly an hour gone. Defoe, Crouch. Micah Richards going down the outside. Tries to power his way past Simovic. Well, it's funny how things in football even themselves up, isn't it? Rooney conceded a penalty which wasn't really inside the area in Russia. And here tonight we've had a soft penalty. I think it was soft, but Mark said quite rightly that he shouldn't have tugged him against Joe Simovic. It's put England back in it. Up goes Crouch again. But England still need another goal, remember, as long as it stays 1-0 to Russia against Andorra. Didn't we say it always goes to the wire, Mark?
Oh dear, oh dear.
$88,091 is the official attendance tonight. I think that's probably the biggest since Wembley's been open. Never quite get to the 90 because of pockets of segregation. And now Simovic is hurt. The play continues. Beckham picks him up. That was a terrific save.
Well, I don't know if you noticed as well, he was mobbed by his teammates straight away.
Eduardo. Oh, it's given away by Chorluka. This is Campbell to Beckham. Gerrard, Lampard.
Just trying to force it a little too much.
This is Eduardo, but it's gone straight through to Carson. Steve McLaren, of course, has one more substitution he can make as we approach the middle of the second half. Here's Cernar. He's got Olic to his right, Eduardo to his left. England need to be watchful. Oh, and Bridge wasn't. And Olic, another save by Carson.
Oh, Bridge has got away with absolute murder. I mean, in this position as well, you can't do that. You've just got to deal with it first time. Well done, Carson.
Gerrard. And this is Beckham. Defoe. Appeals for a foul. Referee says no. Eduardo, no, it's not him either. It's away by Lescott. And then forward by Gerrard towards David Beckham. Offside.
And the game's now been stretched on. It really seriously is being stretched. And you have to say, Croatia are just as much a threat to score a goal as England at the moment.
Joe Cole. Joe Cole has really been persistent here. Croatia aren't very happy with the referee just at the moment. That was Cernar again. Lampard trying to get Wayne Bridge in round the back. Goal kick.
Just feels like a cup tie, this game, isn't it?
Feels like a cup final.
No, it's better than a cup final.
It's still Andorra 0, Russia 1 after an hour. They kicked off 4 minutes behind the teams here at Wembley. Defoe! Richards, here's Beckham. Crouch waiting in the centre. Crouch, surely! Yes! Yes! Peter Crouch has done it for England. It's 2-2. And the big man keeps up his phenomenal scoring record. But guess who supplied the cross? David Beckham. That saves England from humiliation and possibly sends them to the European Championship finals. Peter Crouch got it down on his chest, cracked it in. 14 goals in 24 internationals. Thank you very much. It's level.
You can't understate the quality of the Beckham cross. Absolutely brilliant. What a first touch from Crouch as well, and he just waited for the ball to drop. Fantastic composure in the cauldron of this game.
And once again, there's going to be a lecture here for Jermaine Defoe, but once again, the quality of the cross, and that's the reason that Steve McLaren brought Beckham back.
Well done, Michael Richards as well. He spotted the build-up play from Croatia and just nipped in and pinched the ball off them.
So, the recovery is underway. Now they must guard against Croatia scoring again. Niko Kovac gets a free kick. Modric, Cernar. Modric again, three waiting in the centre. Corner, is it? Yes.
They mustn't fall asleep, England. Mustn't.
But the corner's been taken quickly. Here's Cernar. Oh. Well, I mean, for all the excitement, we're really back where we started, aren't we?
Yeah. Doesn't feel like it though, does it?
Not at all. Now let's have another look at the group table now. It's changed. My, how it's changed. England are now ahead of Russia, and the reason they are is the head-to-head results. Russia beat England 2-1 in Moscow. England won 3-0 here. That's the way it looks, and that's the way it is. Peter Crouch, what a record. Could be a very, very nervous last 23 minutes. It's bound to be, unless England, of course, get ahead.
I think Croatia about to make a change as well.
And this is Robert Kovac to Simunic. Cernar. Olic. Knocked over by Joe Cole, play on, it's Lampard. And Scott Carson made that save, Mark. England were 2-1 down.
Exactly, brilliant.
Croatia is still looking dangerous on the break. Eduardo, free kick. Cranchar was fouled before that. And they're going to bring on Mladen Petric, who was left out largely because he had flu yesterday. But he is a dangerous striker. He's left-footed. He scored 4 in one game against Andorra. He plays for Borussia Dortmund, and he replaces Eduardo. First time it's gone quiet.
I'm worn out.
You are. You're younger than I am. Modric. There's Chorluka. Chorluka again. Cernar. Given a foul, that challenge by Chorluka.
Yeah, I think the referee thought that he lunged in. I know you think it was a soft penalty, but I'm absolutely certain it was a penalty. What a stupid thing to do. 2-0 up, and here's the Crouch, the second goal. Brilliant. Look at that. Forever just watching the ball all the time. Never took his eyes off it. Great technique, that is.
You think Crouch hasn't scored in the Premier League yet this season?
He's not playing.
He's not complaining about it now. Yeah, exactly. This is Richards. England could just get another goal here. Gerrard. Free kick. Oh, here's another opportunity. Only one man taking the ball here. Now what does he do from there? It's a good 30 yards. Far post ball. Sol Campbell was there. Gerrard off the legs. Cernar saves the corner. It's a throw-in on the far side.
I think it's a bit ironic, John, that the pitch has been spoiled by the American football played on it, but if you think about Beckham, he's almost like an American football player who comes on, a special team player, isn't he, with his passing?
Well, he's playing in the right country now then, isn't he?
Well, England.
Here's Crouch. Header on towards Defoe. Foul by Defoe.
That's the position for Defoe, though. The other side of Crouch.
Well, England gave themselves so much to do after that first 15 minutes, but somehow or other they clawed their way back, which is really the story of this group, isn't it? Niko Kovac, Chorluka. At this stage of the proceedings, it makes you glad that England only needed a draw and didn't have to win, doesn't it?
Yeah. The other thing as well, you have to give credit where credit's due to Croatia. Just kept the two up front all the game.
The Swedish referee.
I think he's done a good job in difficult circumstances, conditions.
Yes, he has.
He's almost got a smile on his face. He's loving it.
Well, there'll be some smiles on English faces if it stays like this, that's for sure. Didn't Crouch take that goal well, though?
I thought he did okay in the first half as well, you know.
Joe Cole and Petric here. Crouch. Well, England want another free kick. It's Lampard there. Falling out with Cernar, who's a feisty customer. Away by Lescott. Lampard. Croatia are still at it, you know, they really are. Kranjčar working away on that left-hand side. Niko Kovac. Chorluka. Offside Crouch.
Replacement coming off the field, number 19, Niko Kranjčar.
Daniel Kranjčar has come on. He plays for Heerenveen in Holland. Straightforward midfield replacement. And there are just about 15 minutes plus stoppage time to go. That distance is where England stand from the finals of the European Championships, having looked out of them in the first quarter of this game. Modric. Chorluka. Cernar. going to be a very nervy last 15 minutes, that's for sure.
Yeah, you don't want England to sit back too far.
Kovac. Modric, good turn, free kick. Takes it quickly. Pranjic. Good ball inside too. David Beckham is right back there defending. Niko Kovac. Petric. Oh, he nearly got Pranjic in there. Petric again. Oh, he scored! Extraordinary! It's the substitute Petric with the deadly left foot, and Croatia have gone 3-2 up, and England may be out after all. Something out of nothing from Mladen Petric, who'd only been on the field 5 minutes. Pranjic, the other substitute, makes it. He fires a shot, it goes across Carson Mark. It's 3-2.
I don't think Carson sees this until very late. Comes past Sol Campbell, and it was just hit so early, wasn't it? Good play by Pranjic as well into him. One touch and hit.
How many more twists and turns are there in this story? Just when England looked to be within touching distance of getting through, Petric strikes what could be the hammer blow. Joe Cole. So England need one back now. Oh, it's a mistake by Gerrard. It's Petric again. Pranjic is up with him. Offside here. Olic.
Well, England are really lucky, because if Olic just holds his run, he's in. He never ever looked across the line at all. Another England sub coming, I think.
Let's have a look at the league table again. England are out at the moment. 1 point behind Russia. But Russia still only lead 1-0 in Andorra after 75 minutes, and Darren Bent, I think, is coming on in place of Joe Cole when it happens. It's desperate now for Steve McLaren. Well, it's desperate for every Englishman. Here's Crouch. Haven't Croatia been at it tonight? Here's Olic. Oh, that needed covering by Lescott.
That's a brilliant pass from Olic. He's just stretching. I think he originally tries to just play it off Lescott for a corner and manages to bend it round him.
And England substitution coming off the field, number 11, Joe Cole. Being replaced by number 18, Darren Bent.
That's in by Cernar. Oh, it was dangerous. Well, Mark, we've seen England in quarter-finals and semi-finals, but this is a roller coaster ride, the sort I don't think I've ever experienced before. Gerrard having to defend against Niko Kovac. Here he is again. With a back heel he tried there, but England got it away. Wayne Bridge. Now we've got Bent and Defoe up front now with Crouch. All three of them making angles here. Beckham to the right, Crouch's header. Defoe.
I
Two strikers from Tottenham hardly played, have they, in the first team?
Exactly, and I think Ben's just going to play on the left of a three, really, alongside Defoe and Crouch.
Bridge. On by Lampard. Bent trying to get in there, so was Defoe. Bridge again. Not a good header by Simic. Beckham. Back in by Sol Campbell. Gerrard. Defoe and Bent both chasing. Too high as it came out for Crouch. Whistle's gone.
Yeah, fouled by Micah Richards on the back of Simic.
The danger here is England have got to commit and overcommit, really, and Croatia is so good on the break. Petric is hovering in the middle again. He was second to Lescott there.
I thought we'd seen all the twists and turns on Saturday in Tel Aviv.
By no means. And is there one more? Not there.
You just wonder, this is the third Croatian goal. You just wonder. I think Carson sees it very, very late. Fingertip to it. There's a celebration run by Bilic.
You'd think he'd won the European Championship, not taking the lead in what for them is a rather irrelevant game. Well, not irrelevant, but they're already through.
I'd hate to see them play when they're serious.
Yeah, when it is relevant. Here's Bridge. Croatian supporters are making huge noise on the far side. England's have been silenced, but here come the three. Crouch on. Lampard backing up. That's a push, isn't it? Yeah, it's got to be a free kick against Lescott.
It's a silly foul. He's got him going where he doesn't want to go. Back to his own goal, just keep him in there.
Slaven Bilic is going to give Rakitic a run, I think. Number 7, only 19 years old here, the youngest man in the squad. Ivica Olic is the man going off. Won't be hurrying, will they?
Nope.
Well, Mr. Rooney, he can't influence this, but his own future next summer particularly is in the balance here, as is every other prospective England player. Here's Wayne Bridge, Crouch, Petric, down the line for Cernar, he kept it in. That just forced the corner.
They've just kept the ball brilliantly, haven't they, in all situations.
It's going to be taken by Cernar. Big climb there by Joseph Simic.
And you just see the advantage of having Crouch in the team as well, John, defensively, as well as in forward situations.
It's all boiled down to the last 5 minutes. And there in the stand, Prince William and Brian Barwick, the chief executive. Goodness knows what's going through his mind. If it stays like this, there'll be some big decisions to make. But wait, here's a chance for Darren Bent. Oh, so close! The first time he got into the game.
Well, he did brilliantly, you know, because he just held the defender off. At first instance, you think the defender's going to be favourite for this ball, and he just pure strength knocks him out of the way, hits it as well. Left foot half volley, he's unlucky.
Just clipped the roof of the net as it went over. Cernar. Beckham not in the game at the moment. They can't get the ball to him. Micah Richards. Lampard. Gerrard. Beckham outside now.
No. Needs it to his feet, doesn't he? Got to go to his feet.
It's getting very close now. Rakitic. Touched by Beckham to Crouch. Gerrard trying to force his way through. Croatia have nobody in the England half at the moment. This is Cernar. Now Chorluka's decided to make a run on the near side. Cernar's lost it now. Chance for England now. Lampard, It's an England throw, forced by Lampard. Aimed at Crouch, but not far enough. Another chance for Bridge. It may not be too late for England. This is Lampard. And Croatia get the ball out. England are 2 minutes away, plus stoppage time, from European Championship oblivion. Carson takes the kick. Crouch tries to win it. Bridge. Surely there's going to be one more chance. Surely there is. Lovely turn by Modric. Amidst all this mayhem, we've seen a star in the making there tonight. Cernar. Croatia have got 5 players in attack even at this stage. Chorluka into Petric. Say something, Mark, say something.
I can't.
England just got to plough forward and hope, just hope that something comes off here. Crouch is the target. Defoe, no. Ball's gone out for Bridge to take the throw. Can he get any purpose on this to try and, well, Crouch is a long way away. Bent is the target now. Whistle's gone, free kick to Croatia.
Yeah, foul by Lescott. Well, there's no subtlety required anymore, John. It's just get the ball into the opposition penalty area, challenge, don't foul, hope you get a break.
Andorra 0, Russia 1 with 5 minutes to go. 3 extra minutes here at Wembley will be signalled. England need 1 goal to save, well, to save a whole welter of criticism, to say the least. All the old doubts will be resurfaced unless they score here, and some of them would be anyway. Scott Carson to kick long. It's now or never for England. Bent, Defoe. It just won't fall to a white shirt. Petric. Forward again from Campbell. Ball's bounced. Oh, and a wild clearance.
It's a throw-in as well. I thought for a moment it was a corner.
Bridge to take the throw. Lescott's forward. Campbell's forward. Everybody's forward. Headed on. Oh, and Johnny and Lescott got a touch on that. And this is a corner. This is a corner. Beckham to take it, please. Richards is in there. Crouch is in there. And Croatia have got the ball away. Rakitic. Oh, and Croatia are breaking, and Rakitic is free in the middle. He could finish it here. Number 7. And he's backheeled it, trying to fight. Oh, they've made a mess of it themselves. Niko Kovac. Anything can happen now. 2 minutes to go of extra time. Beckham. Looking for Crouch. Headed away by Josie Simonic. Deal with this.
Just confusing as well there. Michael Richards who stayed up front. And
Franjic to Modric. Sorry, Mark. Carry on.
No, I just think this is where Croatia have been brilliant, John. The way they've kept the ball under pressure has been an abject lesson to any other team. Look, play for a foul, slow the game down, push everybody out. They've been very, very good.
Niko Kovac won that free kick. Slaven Bilic.
He's saying stick it in the corner.
He just wants to win here. He wants to win.
Absolutely.
And of course win the group, which they would be delighted about. That's where he wants it. We're in the last minute of extra time, of added time. Is there one last hope for Steve McLaren? If there is, it's got to come now. Lescott. Headed on by Crouch. Oh, what a good ball that is. Modric now. Rakitic. Oh, and then they've got a free kick. It's forward, they're screaming. Gerrard. Still a chance, Lescott. Seconds left, Gerrard. Everybody's gone forward for England. Away by Cernar, Rakitic. And England are out of the European Championships unless Andorra score against Russia in the next 3 minutes. England players standing, lying in disbelief. Steve McLaren shepherded away. Croatia celebrate what for them has to be seen as a memorable victory. And Wembley is stunned. There are sounds of disbelief, there's a bit of booing. There are people standing just trying to take in what's happened. England were 2-0 down, they got back to 2-2, which was a qualification position. And then they conceded a third goal, and the substitutes and the injured players come on as Carson hangs his head, and the scene is one of desolation at Wembley. Haven't seen it quite like this since, well, probably when Germany won here back in 2000, but that wasn't anything like as significant as this. Slaven Bilic, well, he's entitled to look delighted. Our studio are keeping us informed about what's happening with the Russia game, because you can't take anything for granted in this group, but it would be the miracle of all miracles if Andorra scored now. They're into 3 minutes of injury time there. Still 1-0 to Russia, so Gus Hiddink within touching distance now. Mark Lawrence, you can take the pressure off me here by just saying a few things about this game.
Well, let's congratulate Croatia. I think they played extremely well, John, but you know, after the abject first half performance by England, made the changes at half-time, got themselves back into the game at 2-2. At 2-2 it was a job done, but you just felt they'd slowly started to back away, England. And then of course the winner came from Croatia, and I think once the third goal got in and went in, England never really looked like scoring again. At half chance for Bent, apart from that, really too little too late.
Just before we hand back to Gary, Mark, it would be irresponsible not to say that this defeat will have ramifications, probably for Steve McLaren, but that's to be obviously decided later, and the faces tell the story here. Gary, it's unbelievably for me, England 2, Croatia 3.